Hello folks, King's Drummer here, and it's time for another new vinyl video. These are some records that I had bought over the weekend on Saturday, and it was a pretty decent haul of some records I've been looking for a while, so let's jump into it. We're going to start off with a Pink Floyd record, and the one I'm talking about is A Momentary Lapse in Reason from Pink Floyd. I believe this came out in 1987. This is the record that did not feature Roger Waters. The band did a complete split at that time with Roger Waters, and that started the big feud between Gilmour and Rogers. And I believe the other members of the band as well, but I'm not really sure, so I never really followed it that much. But Gilmour had taken control of the band, became one of the main songwriters, or the main songwriter on this album, and put out something under the Pink Floyd name, even though it was only two guys in the photograph, which is kind of sad, because I remember back in the day, you saw a picture of Pink Floyd, you actually saw a picture of a whole band, not just two guys, but still some good music on here. Obviously Learning to Fly was the big hit single, but there was also Dogs of War, a beautiful song on the Turning Away, and a great song to close this album, which was Sorrow. Sorrow appears on the live DVD, which is called Pulse. A great version of that, a live version of Sorrow on the Pulse DVD and live CD as well. This was my introduction to Pink Floyd, really, because I really didn't become very interested in music till I was in my teens, 15 on. And I think when this came out, I was 16 or going on 17. This actually was my introduction to Pink Floyd, and then from here, I listened to all the back stock, you know, The Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, and that's how I got into Pink Floyd. And this is a great record, because I still remember when it first came out. I loved the video for Learning to Fly. I thought it was a great video, and I loved the song. And I remember the VJs on VH1 kept, not VH1, but MTV, kept saying how a legendary band they were, and just getting into music at the time, I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. So this was my introduction to Pink Floyd. I discovered their back catalog after that, and awesome band, so real glad to have that album in the collection. Another nostalgic record that brings me back to my late teens. Van Halen, OU812. This is a promotional copy, as you can see on that stamp right there. This came out in 1988, and Biosite One actually showed this on one of his videos recently, and it made me remember how great a record this was. I actually saw Van Halen in concert while they were promoting this album in the summer of 1988. They had organized a rock festival called the Monsters of Rock in America, and on the bill it was Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken, Metallica, and Kingdom Come. And it was an all-day concert event, and I saw it at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, actually a day after my birthday, actually, when I just turned 18. So a lot of good memories attached to this album for me. A lot of people complain that this era of Van Halen was too commercial, had too many radio hits and too many MTV video hits. But if you take those songs out of it, which are When It's Love, Feel So Good, and Finish What You Started, what's left over is some great rock songs. My favorite track on here is AFU Naturally Wired. Some high energy guitar work on that one, and a great rockin' song. And I also love Black and Blue, Source of Infection, Cabo Wabo, Sucker in a Three-Piece, some good rock songs on here, if you minus all the hit singles. So real great to have that one in. Another nostalgic record I bought, since we're getting into 80s kind of hair metal years. This was a big record that I listened to during that time. It's Queensryche, Rage for Order, and I bought this just for memory's sakes only. It's kind of a dated record. It sounds extremely dated. But just like the last record I showed, some great memories attached to it. I mean, if you want to see the pictures of the band, wow. Yeah, that was the look back then. So thank God things have changed, and most of these guys don't even have hair anymore. But, you know, back in the day when this came out, 1986, I believe, if I'm correct. Yeah, 1986. This was a awesome record to listen to. I was just taking up the drums at this time. And my favorite song on here is the opening track, Walk in the Shadows. Just a cool rock beat to this one. The 16ths on the hi-hat, and it's just a great beat to play on drums when you were just learning the instrument. I Dream of Infrared's a killer song on here, as well as The Killing Words, London, Screaming in Digital, and a great ballad to close, power ballad to close this album, which is called I Will Remember. This was a fun album back in the day, and when I was just taking up drums, Scott Rockenfield, he's a drummer in this band, was a big influence on me. I love the way this guy played drums, and he still is one of my favorite drummers. That is just a fun album to have. Okay, this next album, I got curious to buy it after watching a video, one of Mr. Hall of Fame's videos. He showed this record recently, one of his videos, and the way he talked about it really got me to want to go out and seek this record and listen to it for myself. And once I did, I was glad I did, because it was a fantastic album. It's from John Coltrane, A Love Supreme. And if it wasn't for Mr. Hall of Fame, I probably wouldn't have joined the VC. His videos inspired me to join the vinyl community. But I mostly thought he was a rock and metal and 80s fan. So I was kind of surprised he showed this record. I mean, he showed jazz records before in his past videos, but I was really intrigued that he loved this record so much. And the way he talked about it really lit a fire under me to want to go seek it out myself. I did find a used copy of it. It was only for like $4. I bought this and brought it home, threw it on the turntable, and man, it is great. Some great jazz running on here. In fact, let me get the name of the drummer who plays on this record, because he does take a solo, I believe, on side 2. And this drummer's name is Elvin Jones, and it's on the MCA record label. Elvin Jones is the drummer on this album, and he does take a drum solo on side 2 of this album, and this is a good listen. I'm sure it's probably another common jazz record, but this is such an enjoyable album. I mean, the time went by really quick. It seemed like I only had the album on for 5 minutes and I had to turn it over already to the other side. I mean, I was having a great time listening to this. I love this album. I think maybe later on I'll seek out a better copy with the original insert. But real glad to have this in the collection. Like I said, when I saw Mr. Hall of Fame's video and how much he was talking about how much he loved it, it really made me want to go out and seek it. And I was real happy to find it, and reasonably priced for $4, and such a good album. Okay, another member who inspired me to join the vinyl community originally was Derek Vaughn. Derek recently showed a video of all his 10-inch records. And when I was at my favorite vinyl store, one 10-inch record caught my eye, and I don't have any in my collection, so I thought this would be a good place to start for that format, and it's by Oingo Boingo. 10-inch album. There's no name on it, it just says Oingo Boingo EP. There's only 4 songs on this 10-inch record, and those 4 songs are Only a Lad and Violent Love make up side 1. Side 2 is Ain't This the Life and I'm So Bad. Really good album, and this is the original insert. Not bad, and some good songs from Oingo Boingo. I mean, I've had him on a record collection before. He has a nice custom label here. One of my favorite bands from the 80s, especially the song Only a Lad, which is a classic Oingo Boingo song, as well as Violent Sex and Ain't This the Life. I do have a live video of Oingo Boingo. It was a farewell concert, their last concert they had at one of their legendary Halloween concerts in Los Angeles, and it's a great concert. It's a killer concert, and all those songs are on it, and they play them really well. And I'm gonna shop for more 10-inch records. These are They're not quite singles, but they're not quite albums, and that's what makes them pretty cool to collect. So that was a good one to start with. Okay, this next record is a bootleg from The Who, and unfortunately, it doesn't tell me, the year it was recorded, or the name of the city, or the name of the venue. So that's a complete mystery to me. But it's from The Who, like I said, and it's called Souvenir. There's a cover art, a photo of Townsend, Roger Daltrey, and Keith Moon on the drums. And there's the back cover. It is pretty much the whole show. It sounds as if it was an FM broadcast, a radio broadcast, but since there's absolutely no information on this whatsoever, it's hard to say where it's from or when it was recorded. There's songs from Quadrophenia on here, all live versions, and one song from Who's Next. So I would think mid to late 70s, but like I said, there's no info on here. And the name of the label is Beacon Island. That's the name of the record label. It's a 2-record set. Sound quality on this album is good. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's good. At times, it's a little the guitar is a little too loud. It does hurt your ears, but the sound quality is good, and it's a great show. The band sounds fantastic, and Daltrey's in great voice. Band's playing well together. The crowd sounds really into it, so it sounds like a fantastic show. I believe Daltrey's in between songs says something like "Good Evening New York," so I would think which should make you think it's a concert recording from New York. I thought he said New York, but it's really hard to hear. Like I said, the sound quality on this is good. It's definitely a broadcast recording. A little bit on the high end. It could use a little bit more bass and make it easier in the ears, but still a good recording and a real fun show to listen to. The band really sounded tight on this album, so really glad to have that Who bootleg. Fantastic. I almost wasn't going to show this record, not because I didn't think it was a good record. I think it's a fantastic record. It's just that it is in such horrible shape because I only bought it for $1. I found it in the dollar bin at one of my stores, and it is so beat to shit, the cover, but it's a good record. King Crimson, red. As you can see, this cover has seen better days. But this is a good record, and some fantastic music on it. It's just, this end, I don't know if you can really see, but this end here is all taped together, as well as the top of the record here. I don't know if the camera will catch that, but trust me, this thing's held together by tape. But despite it being a terrible looking album jacket, the vinyl is actually surprisingly very clean. No scratches on it, and plays really nice. I don't know what that little mark on the label is. I don't know what that is, but it plays really good, and that's really all you can ask for in a used record. As long as it plays great and sounds good on the speakers, what more do you want, really? You only spent $1. Not my favorite King Crimson record, though it is a damn good one. Discipline is still my favorite album from King Crimson, but this comes in a very close second to me. But then again, I don't own all their albums, so currently my second favorite record, Red. Really good record. Going next, a live album from Jean-Luc Ponty. This is called Jean-Luc Ponty Live. Another record I found in a dollar bin. And it is a very good album, actually. Really liked it. Great band. There's a bass and drum solo on this album. That sounds really cool. I think I listened to it like 3 times already and just dig the hell out of it. Very good live recording. I think this was done in 1978. Yeah, recorded in December 1978. And it doesn't really say what venue. At least I don't see it offhand. But, just a great live record from I would say mid to late 70s, Jean-Luc Ponty. Really good recording, really enjoyable record. Was really surprised at how many John Pawnee records I find in the dollar bin, so really great to have that one. And another John Pawnee record, straight from the dollar bin. This one's called Civilized Evil. And actually, we'll take it out of sleep, you can see the cover better. There we go. Really cool looking cover. And like I said, it's called Civilized Evil. And love the artwork on this. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it's a okay record. It's good. I wouldn't say it's the best one I have of his in my collection, but it's a good record. It came out in 1980, and Randy Jackson plays bass on this, formerly of, well, not formerly, he's still on American Idol. I don't know, I don't watch American Idol. I don't even know if he's a judge on it anymore, if it's even on the air anymore, but Randy Jackson does play bass on this, and he's an awesome bass player. But the music on here, maybe I need to listen to it more. I only listened to it one time, and I was doing things while it was playing in the background. And when my brain tuned into the music, it just didn't hold my attention very long. I went back to doing what I was doing, so maybe I just need to just sit down with earphones and give it a good, solid listen without any distractions. But I remember not being too impressed with it, thinking it's okay. I've heard better from him, but it's okay. But maybe on a couple more listens, I'll warm up to it. Okay. The last video, I bought some Dave Mason records, a record I should say, and was really impressed with it. I bought Headkeeper and was really impressed with it, so it made me want to go out and find more of his albums, and so I found this one, which I think is his debut solo record, and it's Dave Mason, Alone Together. And I love the packaging on this. I gotta back up just so I can get this into the frame. The packaging on this is really cool because it opens like a gatefold, and when you notice the picture of him wearing the top hat, well, you can flip it out, and it extends to this picture, which I'm going to have to show. I can't fit it all in one frame, but you know, that's the front, and of course this is the back. And I really like this packaging, and the album fits on this little pocket for the record. So you go ahead and pull the record out, and it's on colored vinyl, multicolored vinyl, like so. And it's a really cool album, real cool looking album, real cool packaging. As you can see, it's on the Blue Thumb record label. Real nice color on this. I love this design of the album, and the music, absolutely killer. The opening song, which is Only You Know and I Know, great song. Great high energy, kind of 70s rock song. Real cool stuff. And I mean, all the side one is great, you know. Can't Stop Worrying, Can't Stop Loving, Waiting on You, Should Have Took More Than You Gave, or Shouldn't Have Took More Than You Gave. Real good song. I mean, side 2 just as good, you know. The last song called Look at You, Look at Me, nice 7-minute jam. This is a great album. Really glad I got into his stuff. Dave Mason puts out some really good music, and I have a great time listening to this stuff. And I didn't stop there. I got one more. This one's a live record. Dave Mason is alive. And he looks half dead in that picture, but Dave Mason is alive, trust me. And this was a live recording at the Troubadour, which I find interesting because my last video I showed an album which is half recorded, half live, and the live cuts were from the Troubadour. So I wonder if they're both from this record, but it's still a stellar live recording. Him and his band sound fantastic live, once again on Blue Thumb record label. And this is just a great live recording, much like the live tracks on Headkeeper, just a fun listen. Band sounds great, good live mix, good live recording. Sounds like you're in that room with them in the Troubadour. It's just a fantastic live recording. You hear the bass and the drums and the rest of the band, the keyboards, the guitar, everything's so well mixed, and this is such a fun, energetic record. I love spinning the daylights out of his music. Really glad to have it. So Dave Mason is alive. Last record, and I thought I'd end on something crazy. Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. I bought it because I just love that album cover. There's so much detail in there. And I like the music too, of course, but I really love this album cover. And both sides, there's just references all over this thing. References to songs, to albums, you name it. There's just tons of references that you can spot just by staring at this album cover. My favorite song on here, without a doubt, is Wasted Years. Wasted Years was always one of my favorite Maiden songs from the 80s. I remember when the video came out, watching a Headbangers Ball back in the day. That one always caught my eye. Love that song to death, as well as Stranger in a Strange Land. Just great stuff. This is when Maiden started using guitar synthesizers, and look at that custom label. Love albums with the custom label, especially this one. Such a cool label on there. Yeah, so I mean, some great songs on here, and Maiden always puts on a great show. I remember back in the day, living at home, living with my folks. My mother didn't appreciate me listening to Iron Maiden. She thought it was, devil's music. Call it what you will. It was just too kick-ass for me to ignore, and I love this. This is one of my favorite records from Maiden. I think they've probably had better, but for me personally, I really love this album. So Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. Really glad to have this in the collection. Well, that's the records I had for the weekend. What you see behind me is my new record shelf that I bought a couple weeks ago. There's 2 more shelves on the bottom that you can't really see on camera that are yet to be filled. I've filled 3 of them so far. When I first started the VC, I had them like in a little half bookshelf, and they fit just fine in there, but the collection got so big I actually had to graduate to a real shelf, and looking at this, it always makes me feel like I'm a legit collector now. So real glad to have the bookshelf. It makes me look like I got a serious library going of records now, and a lot more to come, a lot more. Well, that's going to do it for me, folks. That was the record haul I got for the week, and I'll be seeing you guys at the next video.